Yes, it's a really hot day out today. It's still 80 degrees, maybe 82 degrees. Very comfortable, not that humid. So let's go check these bees. Yeah, my yard back here is still an absolute mess. It's still in shambles. I just have no energy or motivation to come out here and rip all the weeds out. Plus the bees are kind of enjoying all this Biden's Alba and clover and all the wildflowers, but I don't know. Part of me still wants to put sod or turf down, artificial grass, something, just to block this whole area off. I'd love to do an outdoor training session here. I can have benches and people can sit here. I can do a little presentation. There's shade canopy I can pull underneath this trellis system. And then behind you, we have all of our bees that we could do hands-on learning. What I'm trying to do is eliminate so many colonies so I can have room to put mating nukes here. All I'm going to do today is just peek through these colonies. I want to inspect them, make sure there's plenty of bees in all 5 frames, and then I'm going to relocate a colony or 2. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and check inside of this one here. I believe this is a weaker colony, and then I'll check these over here. These double stacks I'm going to hang on to. These are the colonies that I want to use for resource, for pulling brood, for finding eggs. They're all pretty much Kona stock except for this tan one here in the middle. This is the new genetics of the Santa Fe queen that I have, but the others are my Kona queens from last season. Same with this one in the back here. That's my Kona breeder that I used last year. So I want to kind of hang on to them for now, but all of these single nukes, they can go pretty much. I'm not using any smoke either, so it's just going to be a really quick peek. Nothing too fancy here. I could probably do them barehanded, but to be honest with you, I mean, I don't prefer getting stung. I don't look forward to taking bee stings, so raising well-behaved bees is a good goal that I have, and then I do try to adhere to using at least some type of protective clothing. I mean, I know everybody's different, but again, I've taken my fair share of stings over the years, so my preference is simply don't get stung. These are 9mm nitrile gloves. You can get them pretty affordably at most locations, and these are reusable too, so it's not like you have to throw them out after the first use. You just take them off carefully, don't rip them, and put them back in your pocket. It does cause my hands to sweat a little more, but that's not a big deal. Well, they're doing good. I'm just going to look down and I'm seeing 3 frames of bees. So that's great. I believe they were only about maybe 2 frames wide when I first started, and I added 3 frames of drawn comb. Lots of propolis, so that's good. They do need to get the lid with the feeder. Let me see if I can swap that out. Okay, I'm going to take a peek just to see if they're laying. This is a new Santa Fe queen from my last round of grafts that I introduced. It was a virgin queen. And again, this was only about 2 frames of bees. So I know they had a queen. I just want to make sure I see eggs or larvae. Nothing in that one. This is mostly food on this frame here. Bees look good, although each frame isn't covered exactly with the number of bees I want. I want to see more. But these bees have done well. Just in a week's worth of time, they've gotten these frames. Are pulling on this one. I don't see eggs or larvae. This frame is a real thick frame. We got cat brood. Whole frame of cat brood. This is a beautiful frame of brood. I didn't mark the queen like I should have. I mean, you don't have to. I'm going to say based on the frame of brood I'm looking at, we have a queen in here. Bees look healthy. There's so much propolis on the edges, it's really hard. Oh yeah, they're pulling this frame out. So they're already pulling foundation. That's great. Oh yeah, we got brood. We have open brood, young stuff on this one. That's what I wanted to see. So without further ado, I'm just going to kind of close this one, push these frames together. And then again, I just try to center the frames, push them together. Okay, so I just put a tag on them. And next one, we'll go ahead and we'll check this one over here. Again, I'm not using smoke. If your bees are more antsy, it is good to use. They completely filled this mesh cover up with propolis because I didn't have a jar of syrup here, so they just plugged it up. So that's my fault. Uh-oh. This one needs a frame added. So 9 hive beetles on the lid. That ain't that bad. Again, I already like the bee population. There wasn't this many bees in here to start with. Last week there was maybe 2 to 3 frames. So to see them already covering 4 frames is fantastic. We got capped honey across the top, lots of nectar. The bees look healthy. I don't see twisted wings. The bees are acting really well behaved. They're not flying up at me. That's the kind of behavior I like. Again, my biggest challenge is just with these nitrile gloves is it sticks to the propolis. This is another frame of food. I got a small patch of brood and really young larvae. Another small patch of brood. Lots of young stuff, young larvae. This is a solid 4-frame nuke right here. Brood was really small so far, but there is young brood, young larvae. That means there's evidence we have a laying queen. Here's more cap worker brood, beautiful frame. Right there's the queen. Bottom corner. Right here. So she's got a nice brood pattern. Should mark her. And this outside frame, again, I just want to see. They pulled it out. Mostly nectar. We got pollen. That's a fantastic looking colony. Nice frame of foundation with wax on it. Make that 5 frames ready to go. But again, by the looks of their frames, they had 3 frames worth of food, so they really don't need to be fed. Queen's laying, so it's actually good that they're kind of coasting. I'll cover them like that. That's a good colony. That's a great colony. I'm going to mark them with today's date, December 10th. This is another Santa Fe queen. Okay, next one. Same deal. I'm just going to check to make sure, are there 5 frames in the box? Is there decent bee coverage? How do the bees look? How do they act? So this colony took their syrup. Some colonies, I noticed, they'll take the syrup and it will be gone in maybe 2, sometimes 3 days. Other colonies, they won't touch it. They'll just ignore the syrup for weeks. There's also a shim on here, so at one point in time I gave them a piece of pollen patty. There are 5 frames. There's maybe 3 center frames that are being covered at the moment. I last checked this colony October 30th, so it's actually been a while. Yep, we got brood, cap worker brood. Let's see, young larva. Lots of cap brood on the other side. Beautiful. I don't see pinholes or sunken caps. Really looks healthy. There's the queen right in the middle. I should probably mark her, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna make sure I have these frames pushed together. I just put my finger here on the edge and I just kind of push on the other side so I get them all nice and snug with my hive tool. I'm not going to add the shim. I'm going to leave the shim off. Today's December 10th. I'm going to write here. All right, so I'm going to check this colony next year. Again, not a huge population of bees, which is typical. This is only December 10th. Winter solstice is on December the 21st. That's when the days will start to get longer. Right now it gets dark by like 4:30. Yep, this is a brood frame. Good bee coverage. I see pollen. I see lots of capped cells of worker brood. Really should have marked the queen. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Not much going on this side. A little bit of nectar, pollen. Queen is not on this frame. I do see lots of brood though, so that's good. We know we got a queen in here. I got a lot of bees in this general area, and I don't like to oversaturate one area with too many colonies. This is a food frame, primarily nectar. Lots of bee coverage on this side. I just can't see the queen at the moment because I didn't mark her. That's why it's always nice to have a marked queen. It makes it easier to find. I don't need to find her right now. But again, I just like to know that she is present. Oh, there she is. There's the queen. You see the queen? I lost her. She was here. Where'd she go? Who sees her? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Let me step back out in the sunlight, put the frame away. She probably dove underneath her daughters. Good bee coverage, nonetheless. I know she's on this frame. There she is. I do need syrup. Piece of pollen patty probably wouldn't hurt either. Okay, so now I'm going to check these two colonies here just to see again how they're doing. That last colony was doing fine. They're queen right, but they need fed and they need more pollen to expand. Oh, this looks like a great colony. This is a colony that's ready to sell. They have mostly syrup or nectar. This one here, I see cat brood. I see young larvae. Bees look healthy. I see pollen. Same on this side. I see pollen, nectar, a little bit of cat brood. Next frame here, good bee coverage. This is all cat brood. They're a little runny on the frame. The bees are kind of moving around a little bit, but not too bad. Pollen and bee bread, open larva, enticing me to get my queens marked. I always keep saying to myself, I need to mark my queens, and I never mark my queens. And then when I need to find my queen, I can't find her. When I don't need to find her, I do find her. Got more brood. Bees are a little runny, but not too bad. More brood, pollen, young larva. Young larva, eggs on this side. She might be here. I'm gonna look at the last frame. The bees are already starting to get a little frisky with robbing. Oh, this is all honey. So I should take this frame and actually I should uncap it and spin it out. I'll do that later if I get another frame. But this colony is ready to go. Swap out this lid. They're good to go. Next one here. See, these bees are already all flighty. Oh boy, that's a very full box. Seems like they exploded, it looks like, based on what I'm seeing. And they're not very friendly either. They're very, very flighty. So more to be determined on that one. All right, so this is just a little bit after 5 p.m. I went through and I rifled through a bunch of inspections here. I'm going to go ahead and bring one colony over to Cape Coral, and we'll see how the bees do. They're going to be this colony right here. It's from a queen that I grafted on November the 12th. The queen is in that colony right there. It's a Santa Fe line of genetics. So I just inspected them today. There's a good bee population in here. They have a screened bottom board underneath. They have a screened feeder hole. I got to swap that out. But this will probably be the colony I bring over, and that way we'll see how they do. But all of these are pretty much ready to go. This colony here needs fed. It's a little weak. Same with this one behind me. It's a little weak, needs fed. That one over there, a little weak, needs fed. This double is my Kona breeder. These other two are Konas. This is my original Kona breeder from last year. That's a Kona split ready to sell. These two over here are ready to sell. And this right here is my Miska colony. The bees are there, but they're just kind of condensed down. They're not really ramping up. I got to get a feeder lid on top of this 6 frame. It's wider, so there's 6 frames in there. But that's the Miska queen. I really want to get some genetics off of her next. So we'll see how it goes.